Hello and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren and today I'm going to be reacting to two videos, both about David Mitchell. One of them seems like it might be sweet. It's about how he met his wife and his love for his wife, so I love that. That's adorable. And then the other one is almost certainly going to be sarcasm. It is called Dear America and it is from his show or snippet, David Mitchell's Soapbox. So I figured I'll start with something sweet, and then I'll creep on into what has become expected of me on this channel. You gotta have both the sweet and the sour. So I'm looking forward to both of these. This is promising to be cute. Let's go.
After the terrific Pete Show, a very funny comedian in his own right is Mr. David Mitchell.
In his own way.
Thank you for joining us. David Mitchell, well, first of all, it's great to see you. It's great to have you on the show. And the thing earlier when I mentioned about you not liking being recognised, is that the story behind the beard? Is that why you've grown this beard, or is it...?
Well, the main reason I grew this beard is that I'd never had a proper go on my face before. You know, it does a thing, and I'd never let it do the thing.
So just to see what your body could do?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing, you know, I just strained every part of me, and hair came out of my face. But nothing else happened.
But you're shaping it a little bit. You're trimming some of the cheek area, I imagine?
I'm not trimming it. No, this is a sign of good character. It naturally grows neatly.
OK, David has a book out, and it's a very, genuinely, it's a very funny read. David Mitchell Backstory. And you might think that was about just his life, but there is a very specific reason why it's called Backstory, of course.
Well, yes, it is, because it's a memoir. Hopefully it's got jokes in it.
Yes.
It's definitely got attempts at humour in it. But also it's a self-help.
I know all about attempts at humour.
I had a very bad back for a long time. And thank you. People, I often get... That was an R, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
And so the thing that's sorting my back out is I walk for an hour every day. And that's totally sorted my back out. And so contained within that book are not only jokes, but the fact that I've just said. So actually there's no need to buy the book.
Well, no, because there's a lot... But it also, what's clever about it, I think, is that it is very much... It's written around these walks, or around one walk. It kind of takes you on an actual kind of almost a literal journey through London as you walk to fix your back.
Yes, indeed. A literal journey and a metaphorical journey from, if you can imagine, I've come all the way from Salisbury in 1974 to London in 2012, which, you know, it's an incredibly long journey.
But I thought, this is not me judging you, but my first impression of you that you were probably a really, really, really weird child. And but now when you read the book, you realise you...
Speak out, weird children. Everyone who is a weird child. My toast to you. Everyone told me I was weird. I got over it eventually. Not being weird. That never changed, but I decided to embrace it.
You were quite a sweet, you were quite a normal little child, really.
Oh, do you think so?
Yes, I mean...
when I was a child, one of the things that I was oppressed by was the thought that I was a weird child. and I wanted to be more normal. And I was sort of into, you know, dressing up as people and pretending to be various incarnations of Time Lords or 18th century kings.
You just look like a very sweet little boy there. You're not... Are you wearing knickerbockers there? I'm not sure.
What I've done there, in a way that I'm glad to hear you don't think is weird, is I've tucked my trousers into my socks so I look more like I'm wearing those sort of 18th century trousers and stockings that I'd seen depicted on television, and I thought to be quite the thing.
Was this you, because this is in the book,
Fair.
you wanted to be, or you liked the idea of being a king?
That was... I loved pretending to be various authority figures in my own sort of mental universe, and that was the game. That was the game I liked. I didn't like playing with Lego much. I didn't like playing football much. I liked sort of imagining I was a king and I'd be giving orders to courtiers and starting wars and that sort of thing.
I like to play I was Spider-Man. That's what I used to do. That was my favorite thing. I mean, we've played pretend games. We had a bunch of really cool dress-ups, actually. Some really, really cool vintage, like, outfits that, honestly, they fit me when I was, like, 9, so women be tiny, but... No, we used to play all sorts of things. And usually, though, if we were princesses, it was, like, the kingdom had been taken over by an evil sorcerer and we had to defeat him, you know, something of that nature. Also, I played a lot of Disney princesses. Like, I was like, I'm Belle today.
And other times I like to imagine I was the captain of a spaceship. You know, I used to watch Star Trek a lot, and I'd sort of join in with Star Trek, so that if, you know, Captain Kirk said something, I'd go, yeah, that's a very good idea, but I think I should approach it differently. And I cast myself as Captain Kirk's boss.
Let me ask you about the bell you had with which you summoned orange juice.
You sound like... Orange Juice was the name of my dog. No, there was a time at my grandparents' house. This was humiliatingly revealed on Would I Lie to You, by the way, when I had a little bell that I'd ring. Because they had a bell anyway. They didn't buy me the bell. The bell existed in the house, and I took to ringing the bell, and my grandparents would then bring me some orange squash.
Had you pre-arranged this with your grandparents, or did they just guess, well, he's ringing the bell, he must want something, and they reached for orange juice?
I think it was sort of pre-arranged.
It was mutual.
And I think, yeah. I don't think it went on for a long time. I'm so... Well, I was such a fool to let this story get out.
Well, how did it end, then? Did they one day stop bringing you the juice when the bell was rung, or did it just...
Well, you know, they're dead now. They're dead now.
Oh, don't end the story that way.
I don't think they died of exhaustion from bringing me orange juice, but...
Did you have to... The thing when I'm reading books that famous people have written and it mentions other people, I often wonder, do you go to the trouble of running the stories past those other names? Did you check that it was OK? For example, your partner, Robert Webb, when I say partner, I mean comedy partner, obviously. Did you go past the stories in there with him first, or is this a surprise to him?
No, I didn't run any stories past him. But I'm basically... I'm sort of nice about him. I think I like him, so I'm meant to be nice about him. If I've not been nice about him, I actually lack the skills with which to express my liking.
You know, it's a very
That's fair.
It's a funny book. I'm very much enjoying it, and it kind of has a very happy ending as well.
I often lack that,
yes,
too.
It does have a happy ending.
I tend to get real sarcastic with people that I like.
Very incredibly romantic. I mean, incredibly romantic. Really touchingly romantic. Because
all right, this is it.
Perhaps it's your story. Towards the end of the book, David meets a new person who may one day bring him orange juice. Could we... But,
this is the bit.
You speak very openly about your love for the woman you're about to marry, Victoria Coren.
Yes. Well, it's sort of... I'm sort of weird and embarrassed and repressed talking about it, but it was... you know, it was an amazing thing to meet her. I'd not had many successful relationships in my life. You'd be amazed to learn. And so I thought that would probably be a state of affairs that would continue, and I could console myself with the trappings of panel show stardom. You know, the green room at Mock the Week.
Hey, don't knock panel show stardom, David. If I could be on a panel show, I would be very happy about that. Because it would mean that I've done good something else. I've done good at something else. Not speaking English, obviously, but good at something else.
That sort of thing. But so it was really, you know, it was considerably more than I felt I deserved to meet her and just sort of literally fall in love within about... certainly within about 20 minutes.
Wow. But then you found out that she was not available.
Yeah, then she went out with someone else for about 3 years, which was a bit of a hitch. Yeah. But now it's worked out and we're getting married.
Wow.
So...
Oh, wow. Oh, this is before they got married. Okay. I mean, I knew this was an old interview, but, like, I didn't realize it was before that.
It's the loveliest section to read. Yeah. Just before we say goodbye for now, I was at someone's house a short while ago, and David was there as a guest as well. And at the end of the evening, and this shows you what kind of rock and roll lifestyles we lead, a table tennis table was produced, and we played some table tennis. And you would think to look at David that he's not a very sporty man. And yet, he beat everyone in the place very comfortably at table tennis. You're like a table tennis prodigy. You're like Forrest Gump or something. I mean, you played table tennis fiercely and with determination.
All right, I thought there was going to be more to the Victoria story, because there was something that I attempted to watch first. Not going to lie to you, I did try. And it just kind of kept jumping around and jerking and, like, slightly just suddenly the words would cut out and it was just silence, and it was difficult to watch. And so I thought that this one would possibly be better, but it's not exactly the story I was thinking of. But it's still very fun and charming.
What you mean is that I'm slightly better than you are.
Well, you did beat me comfortably. Is this a skill you've always had?
I've always quite liked table tennis. Actually, that's actually one of the secrets that isn't in the book. No, I'm all right at table tennis. It's better than pool, isn't it?
Well, we have a table tennis table here this evening. I don't know. Bradley, are you any good with the table tennis?
No, but I'll give it a try.
Okay. Steve, Joe, you any good with the table tennis?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds to me like there's a rock god challenge waiting for you right there at the end of the show. So at the end of the show, we have time. I'm going to get the table tennis table out. Please, no gambling. It's just for fun. And we'll see how good David really is.
Okay.
David?
Now I'm scared. I had a dream about playing Aerosmith at table tennis.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Mr. David Mitchell.
All right, that's not entirely what I thought it was going to be, but I'm not mad about it. Like I said, there was another one I tried to watch. It just, like, I don't know if that was the one that was suggested or not. I really don't know. And if it was, I'm sorry. I'm sure it's great. It's just like, if there was like a 2-minute video and in the first 40 seconds, there was just so many, like, just random starts and stops. It was just jarring, and I felt like it couldn't possibly be the right one. But if it is, go ahead and let me know, and I'll do that one too. But this one is Dear America, David Mitchell's soapbox. I feel like this is going to be a little snarky towards America, which, you know, we need that every now and again, so let's go. I don't like the little worm.
Americans.
I think it's supposed to be a bookworm, but I don't like it. It's obviously supposed to be a bookworm, because look at, he's in a mini baby library. I like how he's always in something that he shouldn't be in.
As you know, everyone in Britain knows the Queen, and she's asked me to have a quick word with you on her behalf about her English.
Okay.
Don't worry, this isn't the standard tedious British sneering about lieutenants and aluminum. Essentially, her message is, use it how you like. She doesn't mind. She doesn't mind about the sensible ones, like spelling plough the way it quite obviously should be spelt, but nor does she mind about the silly ones, like saying tidbit, because you think the syllable tit is intrinsically rude. By all means, leave the U out of colour if it bothers you. I can quite see that the bit of a car you put stuff...
So, who spells it P-L-O-W and who spells it P-L-O-U-G-H? Because those are the two spellings, right? I didn't think about plow. Like, you plow... Ooh, who spells it which way? I don't know.
Stuff in looks more like a trunk than a boot, and that sidewalks are the bit at the side that you walk on. Fine, says the Queen. Help yourself. She couldn't care less. She couldn't care less, though. Not she could care less. That's the one thing she'd really like you to stop saying, because that, as an expression for not or hardly caring, just makes no sense. If you could care less about something, then all you're telling us is that you do care at least a little bit, because you could care less. But if you couldn't care less, look, observe...
Right, no, I get that, but also sometimes you could care less. It's like, I care a little, like a tiny bit. Maybe, like, you know, I care some. There's not a zero amount of care. Sometimes I feel like it's fine. Because sometimes there's not zero amount of care. It's just slight. It's just slight.
Observe this graph. Here's me on the scale of caring. I'm at 0. Therefore, since negative caring is impossible, or rather is simply caring of another sort, love and hate being different sides of the same coin, etc., I couldn't care less. I could care more, but I couldn't care less. If I could care less, I would have to care at least the smallest possible unit of caring in order to give myself room to care less. I can't care nothing if I could care less. But I might care much more than nothing. I could care anything from here to here. And I could still truthfully claim to be able to care less. I could care less is absolutely useless as an indicator of how much you care, because the only thing it rules out is that you don't care at all, which is exactly what you're trying to convey.
I'm okay with that.
That's the one thing I really want. The Queen really wants you to...
The Queen really wants this. That's what she wants from us. Like I said, though, I can see a use for, especially if you're trying to be maybe polite-ish, you know? If you're like, oh, I could care less. Like, what do you want to eat tonight? I could care less. Which means that you really, really don't want pizza tonight. But like you'd be fine with almost anything else. Right? Something. So I feel like maybe that works. It doesn't. I know it doesn't. I'm just being argumentative. It's fine.
To stop saying. Although while I've got you, the expression is, can you hold the fort? Not hold down the fort. If I ask you to hold the fort, the metaphor I'm employing is perfectly clear. You and I are in the fort together, holding out against the enemies of the fort who are besieging the fort. I now have to pop out of the fort for a bit to get some printer toner or take the cat to the vet. While I do this, don't worry about how I'll get past the besieging enemy. I have a secret tunnel and a false beard. While I do this, I want you to hold the fort so that when I come back, we'll both still have the fort. A perfectly reasonable metaphor embodying a sound military strategy. If I ask you to hold down the fort, what the hell am I talking about?
Oh, I bet it comes from like a mixing of batten down the hatches and holding the fort, right? Because like in a ship storm, you batten down, like you pin them down, right? Like you make sure they don't go anywhere. I bet that's where that came from. Ooh, I'd never thought of that. That, fair.
Hold down the fort while I go out, because as you know, it's an inflatable hover fort. And once relieved of my
The worm behind him just catching my eye. I'm like, wait, I don't trust that little worm.
weight, it might float off into the sky. Hold down the fort, and when I get back, the two of us can tickle the fort. No, meaningless. Stop it. But those are the only two things. Stop doing those, and you can say research and Bernard to your heart's content. Although, herbs. Really? You're French now, are you? With your herbal tea and your herbal remedies? Well, fine. Whatever makes you happy. I could care less.
Well, when he says happy, he just sounds like Cockney, Like that's a legitimate thing that happens in a certain British dialect, isn't it, David? Where the H's kind of get dropped. He's happy. Like, he's happy with his herbs. I feel like that's a thing that happens. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of words that Americans pronounce because they stole them from French, which was like the originator of the word. But yeah. But anyway, that was fun. I thought it would be fun. And again, I got my dose of David Mitchell being sarcastic. Always fun for me. Enjoy that quite a bit. And you got to hear me butcher some accents again. You're welcome. I know that everyone lives for that. So thanks so much for watching. If there's anything else that you would like me to look at, especially from him, from either his soapbox or from anything, like would I lie to, anything specific to David Mitchell, go ahead, let me know. If there's something that you'd like me to look at that's specific to anybody that's not David Mitchell, go ahead and let me know about that as well. And again, if that one that you were talking about that you want, somebody, I don't remember who, I'm so sorry, but someone requested the story of David and Victoria, but like, if that was, if the video you were talking about was like that 2-minute version with all the stops and starts, I can go ahead and watch that. It felt abrupt to me. So I apologize if that is the one that you wanted me to look at. And I understand the reason that it was probably had those. It was probably because of a copyright thing. So I get it. But if that's the one, I'll go ahead and watch it. If it's not, go ahead and send me a link to the thing that you want me to watch. And thanks again. Happy New Year. I will see you all in the next video. Oh, but before I go, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the channel. And don't forget, we've got a membership program. You get some extra content. You get some early stuff. And I feel like it's fun. So thanks so much. I'll see you next time.